Good morning, children. Hopefully, all of you would be fine at your homes. I'm also sailing in the same boat. I'm Katie Watts here. Today, I'm going to discuss the chapter 2 of class ninth, The Sound of Music with you. Dear students, I'm going to share with you part 1. Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. As a pre-reading activity, have you ever imagined that can a person hear without his ears? Can it be possible from any part of the body? Dear children, as the text states about, God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. The very first statement which is being delivered here states that God might have taken her hearing. God is so kind, the Almighty is so great, dear children, that if he takes something from someone, then he compensates. You never know how he is supposed to compensate you, but definitely he will. He has to. That's what the line states, that God might have taken her hearing capacity, but he has given her back something extraordinary, something marvelous. And what we hear, she feels. And it is one of the greatest aspects of the story of this chapter, that what we hear, she feels. No doubt, hearing is important to live a good life, a comfortable life. But when one of the sense is not functioning properly, then what do you have to do in that case? You have to feel. You have to realize by feeling. And feeling far more deeply than any one of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. And this is because of which she was able to express music in such a wonderful manner. Dear children, after reading this chapter, we'll come to know about a wonderful character. The name of the character is Evelyn Glennie. It has been the success story which has been mentioned over here. It narrates that despite having physical disabilities, you should not feel disheartened. You have to be ready to face the challenges. You have to motivate yourself. And that's what she did. Because if you are disabled, either physically or any other way, then you should not have those negative feelings inside you. Because those negative feelings will injure you, will give serious wounds to you. So we have to be cautious about that. Before reading this story about Evelyn Glennie, about his character, we need to remember any such character in your life whom you have seen that yes, he was suffering with some kind of disability, but still he took that as a challenge, fought really very hard against the odds, because that is the real test of a character. Everyone is ready to survive and to live in a feasible environment, in a healthy environment. But the real character comes when you are able to fight back against the odds. That's what she did. I'm carrying on with the chapter. I beg your pardon. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. The first statement says the rush hour crowds. Rush hour crowd mean to say the peak hours. Maybe the morning time, the evening time, when the office gets open in the morning, gets closed in the evening. Normally you will notice a lot of jostling, a lot of elbowing, a lot of crowd on the stations, on the platforms to catch the train. At that platform, a slight girl looking younger than her 17 years. And you can see a slight girl standing over there, looking younger than her 17 years. And she was looking younger than her 17 years, was nervous yet excited. She was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. She was a slight girl, quite young, And you can imagine how young a individual can be at a prime age of 17 years. She was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations. She was nervous. At the same time, the excitement was there. She was feeling the vibrations of the approaching train. The vibrations, because she was not able to hear. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. And where she was heading towards? She was heading towards the Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. And it was really a difficult task, a daunting task. See the word daunting. It was a tough task. It was a difficult task for a teenager who was coming from a Scottish farm. Dear children, it is a bit tedious task that when you come out of a farm, when you come out of a village, then you need to go ahead to learn. You have to check whether you are able to do that or not. And that's what she was doing. She was coming from a village trying to learn something. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. But this aspiring musician, this girl, this Evelyn Glennie, the aspiring musician, she was trying to be a great musician. She was facing a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. And what was the biggest challenge? She wanted to be a musician, but she was deaf. Do you know what is deaf? Who is deaf? Deaf and dumb. Deaf is when you're not able to hear anything. Okay, your ears are not functioning properly. Your capacity is not there. Dear children, that's why the situation became quite tough for her. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had become gradual, and her loss of hearing was not all of a sudden. She was not deaf by birth, dear children. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. And her mother recollects that she noticed something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. And she was waiting when the 8-year-old Eve was trying to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. She called her name. Even her father called her name, but she was not moving at all. I suddenly realized she had not heard. I thought, the mother said, I thought she may not have heard. It normally happens at homes, says Isabel Glennie, her mother. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness. For quite a while, what Evelyn was doing, she was trying to conceal her growing deafness. The child was trying to conceal. What she was concealing? Her growing deafness from friends and teachers. But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated and her headmistress urged her parents. But by the time she was 11, by the time she was of 11 years of age, her marks had deteriorated. Slowly and steadily, her deafness started causing troubles to her. Her learning started deteriorating. She started scoring less marks in the examination. Teachers grew very concerned about her. So her marks had deteriorated. They went down. She was not able to score good marks. And her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. And the headmistress, the kind lady, the supportive teacher, the head of the institution, she requested her parents to take her to a specialist. She requested her parents. The child needs immediate care of a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired. She was taken to a consultant. Okay? She was taken to a consultant, and there they were able to know that her hearing capacity, her hearing potential was severely impaired. Severely means badly impaired, badly damaged as a result of gradual nerve damage. And how it happened? As I told you, that she was not deaf by birth. It was a slow and steady process. It was a gradual nerve damage because of which her hearing impairment was there, dear children. I don't know how it happened, why it happened, destiny might have written something else for her. That's what I can say. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. And you all might be well aware that there are schools for special children. And the specialist, the individual, he told the parents that she must be given some hearing aids and she must be sent to a school for the deaf, a special kind of school. Although inclusive education is there, inclusive education means to say that irrespective of any kind of impairment, children can study together, all of them can realize every individual's setbacks in life, but at the same time, we have some different schools too, where children can go, they can learn better over there, they can be under the supervision of some good teachers, some qualified teachers, some specialist teachers of such kind. That's what was being done. Everything suddenly looked black, says Evelyn. And when Evelyn came to know about this fact, it was a big challenge for her. All of a sudden, the entire world looked black for her. She thought how it happened. Why it happened? Why it happened to me? Normally, children, what happens that if anything occurs to us, then we say, why it has happened to me? Why it has happened to us? But you never know what the destiny, where the destiny is taking you. What is there in the womb of future for you? So be ready for that. But Evelyn was not going to give up. But Evelyn was not going to give up. And you might have heard a verse in the Sanskrit. Ishwaram yat karoti, shobhanam karoti. We, the human beings, never able to understand what the Almighty is willing. What is there in store for us? So, be ready to face every challenge of life boldly, patiently, with a positive energy, dear children. But Evelyn was not going to give up. She was not a girl of weak tendency. She was a courageous girl. She was a strong girl. She was not ready to give up. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. She was determined to lead a normal life. She was determined. She thought, okay, it's fine. If the impairment is there, I'm ready to accept that. It's a challenge for me. And she took that challenge on her face, ready to face the world as a normal life and pursue her interest in music. And she kept on pursuing her interest in music. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. And one day she noticed a girl was there. What she was doing? Playing a musical instrument, a xylophone. You might have seen that. You can see that on YouTube too. What is xylophone? And decided that she wanted to play it too, and she wanted to learn how to play it. Most teachers discouraged her. Normally what happens that when such impairments occur, so many people surround you. Some say some kind words to you. Some are quite imbibing you with some positive energy. Some might be finding fault with you. Some might be accusing you, no, this child cannot do. But still, the individual who is having the potential, who is passing through the phase, he is the best character. He knows better what he can do or what he cannot. So that's why most of teachers discouraged her. Teachers should not have discouraged her. They should have encouraged her. But the time is such, that situation was such, that teachers were forced to discourage her. They thought she cannot do. But percussionist Ron Forbes, see, he is the person who came in her life. The percussionist Ron Forbes. The percussionist Ron Forbes spotted her potential. He was that individual. He was that individual who encouraged her. He began by tuning 2 large drums in different notes. He took this challenge with the girl and he said, dear child, I will teach you. I will tell you. And he devised methods. He began by tuning 2 large drums to different notes, and he started tuning 2 large drums to different notes. He took 2 drums, started tuning them with 2 different notes. Don't listen through your ear, he would say, and the advice which he gave. He said, dear child, don't listen through your ears, he would say. Try to sense it some other way, says Evelyn. And what he said, Evelyn says later that the teacher, the gentleman Ron Forbes, he told me that I'm not supposed to listen through my ear. I am not supposed to listen through my ears, but I have to sense it some other way. And then how can I sense that? When I have hearing impairment, my ears are not functioning properly. How can I sense that? Can you realize that? But Ron Forbes was there. He was the ray of hope in the life of Evelyn Glennie. And he told, suddenly I realized I could feel the higher drum from the waist up and the lower one from the waist down. She divided the body, entire body, into two parts. And she is saying here, writing here, that as per the instructions of Mr. Ron Forbes, she started feeling the higher drum from the waist up, and lowered one from the waist down. Forbes repeated the exercise, and soon Evelyn discovered that she could sense certain notes in different parts of her body. And soon Evelyn discovered that. And very soon she found that she could sense certain notes. As I told you, dear children, that if God takes one capacity from you, then definitely He compensates you. And that's what He did, what the Almighty did. He compensates her. He increases the sensation in the body, the feelings in the body, because of which she was able to realize the drum on her body, the waist up and the waist down. I'd learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations, and slowly and steadily I learned to open my mind and body to sounds and vibrations. I started reacting to that. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. Underline this. Very important statement, dear children. Very important. It will help you in life. The rest was sheer determination and hard work. These are the key words of life. Determination and hard work. If you have them, then you can go against the tides. You can crack a hard nut. You can achieve a Herculean task. You can do anything in the world. But you should be determined. You should have the feeling of hard work, dear children. What happened next? She never looked back from that point onwards. And once she was given the direction, she never looked back. That's what happens. Ron Forbes come as a ray of hope. He was a kind of, you can say, a messenger of God who came in her life, directed her, guided her, supervised her, instructed her, and that's what happened later on. She never looked back. She toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. And she toured the United Kingdom with a youth orchestra. She was a part of a youth orchestra too, and by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. And by the time she was 16, she had decided to make music her life. She auditioned for the Royal Academy of Music and scored one of the highest marks in the history of the Academy. Just underline this. See the capacity, see the potential. Despite having the odds, despite having the hearing impairment, she scored the highest marks in the history of the Academy. That's what an individual is all about. That's what a strong character is all about. When you're determined, when you're hardworking, when you have a strong determination to do something, then nothing is left which you cannot achieve. She gradually moved from orchestral work to solo performances, and later on gradually moved from orchestral work, from a team work to solo performances. Solo means individual performances, dear children. And at the end of a 3-year course, she had captured most of the top awards. And she was so hardworking, so intelligent enough that when the course ended, she ended at the top of the institution, capturing most of the top awards over there, getting admiration from all quarters. What a wonderful child she was. What a God-gifted child she was. And for all this, Evelyn would not accept any hint of heroic achievement. Although we can claim it a heroic achievement, it was great achievement, but she did not accept that. And what she says, underline that. This is a very important paragraph for all of you. If you work hard and know where are you going, see the key words, see the statement what she is delivering. If you work hard and know where you are heading towards, where you're going, you will get there. So dear children, set your targets, start working hard, definitely will reach there. That is the message she is giving. And she got right to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist with the mastery of some thousand instruments. And see her mastery. Whatever she said, she got there. She went to the top, the world's most sought after multi-percussionist she was. With a mastery, she had a mastery of some thousands of instruments and hectic international schedule. She was invited everywhere. She had to go to the international tours. She was welcomed, she was admired, she was appreciated for her mastery on those instruments. A great child, a unique child. It is intriguing, it is interesting, dear children, to watch Evelyn function so effortlessly without hearing. And people were completely surprised to see Evelyn Glennie functioning so effortlessly, without any effort, without hearing. That was the beauty of her character, beauty of her learning. In our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. And in our 2-hour discussion, she never missed a word. Men with bushy beards gave me trouble, she laughed. And sometimes she says, laughing, that man with bushy beards. Beards, you know? Beards you might be knowing. Your father, your brother might have grown those beards in this time of pandemic. So, man with bushy beards, heavy beards, give me trouble. She laughed. It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face, especially the eyes. It's not just watching the lips. And she says, why it was difficult? It is not just watching the lips, it's the whole face. Because I'm supposed to see the entire face. The movement of the face, especially the eyes. And when you have beards on your body, then definitely that might be defeating the purpose. She speaks flawlessly with a Scottish tilt. And she speaks flawlessly, without any error, without any mistake, with a Scottish accent, Scottish lilt. My speech is clear because I could hear till I was 11. And she says that my speech is very clear because I'm not deaf by birth. This is one such adversity which has come to me later on. Maybe by the God's grace. It was a blessing in disguise for me because by the time I was completely deaf, I was able to learn how to speak. That's why my speech is clear. But that does not explain how she managed to learn French and master basic Japanese. But that does not explain then how she was able to learn French and master basic Japanese. Because those languages she might have learned later on after becoming deaf. As for music, she explains, it pours in through every part of my body. Very important statement, underline that. As for music, she explains, it pours in through every part of my body. It tangles in the skin. It tingles in the skin. Okay? It tingles. Do you know what is tingle? Do you know what is tingling? Tingling in the skin. My cheekbones and even in my hair. My cheekbones and even in my hair, she says. She says that I enjoy music from every part of my body, even my hair, even my cheekbones, even some tingling, some sensation is there in my skin. Some sensation is there. When she plays the xylophone, she can sense the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. And when she plays that instrument, that musical instrument, she can sense, she can feel the sound passing up the stick into her fingertips. From the stick, it may be passing through her fingertips. By leaning against the drums, she can feel the resonances flowing in her body. And by leaning against the drums, she can feel the resonances, the vibrations flowing into her body. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes. And she says that I never wear shoes on the wooden platform. Why? Reason behind that. On a wooden platform, she removes her shoes so that the vibrations pass through her bare feet and upper legs. To just enjoy the vibrations. Because the vibrations she was feeling, she was sensing them. That was very important for her life. Not surprisingly, dear children, Evelyn delights her audiences. She made them very happy. They were ecstatic about her performances. And in 1991, many of you might not have taken birth at the time, dear children, she was presented with the Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award. She was presented with that. This is very important. Underline that. What she was presented with? Royal Philharmonic Society's prestigious Soloist of the Year award, says Master Percussionist James Blades. And what Mr. James Blades has to say? Because she got admiration from every quarter. This is one more fellow who came for the appreciation. And he said, God may have taken her hearing, but he has given her back something extraordinary. Again, the repetition of the same line. God might have taken her hearing capacity, but that was a blessing in disguise for her and returned her, compensates her with something extraordinary. That's what life is all about, dear children. So never feel sad, never feel dismayed at the loss of anything, because something there must be in the store for you. When we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. She was more concentrated, she was more focused, she could feel and enjoy. That's why she expresses music so beautifully, and she was able to express music in such a wonderful manner. Evelyn confesses that she is something of a workaholic. Workaholic, underline this word workaholic. You might have heard about alcoholic. Alcoholic is a person who is addicted to alcohol, okay? To drinking every day. But workaholic, someone who is addicted to work every day. Work endlessly, tirelessly. That is a workaholic individual. Many people are workaholic in this world, who believe in doing work only, work and work and work and nothing else. Evelyn confesses that, and she confesses that she is something of a workaholic. And this is the character trait only because of which she might be successful, because she was a workaholic. She used to do labor, working hard every day. That's why she was successful. I've just got to work. Dear children, if there is no pain, there is no gain. You have to work hard. You have to take pains to move ahead. This is life. It's not a bed of roses. I've just got work to often harder than classical musicians. And she admits that I have worked even harder than the classical musicians. But the rewards are enormous. But she says, but the rewards are enormous, dear children, because when we work hard, when we achieve anything in life, then the sweat which we might have taken out in reaching the destination, that went away. You feel happy. You feel ecstatic about that achievement. Apart from the regular concerts, Evelyn also gives free concerts in prisons and hospitals. And she used to give concerts in prisons and hospitals, consoling the people, comforting them. She also gives high priority to classes for young musicians. She was taking classes for the young musicians too. And Richland of the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says, she is a shining inspiration. Mr. N says that she is shining inspiration. She is a motivation for the deaf children. Who says that? Mr. N. Richland. The Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children says. They see that there is nowhere that they cannot go. Even the deaf children today feel that if she can do, why can't we, dear children? This is the feeling. This is the inspiration. These are the characters who inspire you, who guide you, who inculcate you, who strengthen you. Evelyn Glennie had already accomplished more than most people twice a race. And Evelyn Glennie had accomplished, she achieved more than most people twice a race. And she achieved what the people of twice a age are not able to achieve. She has brought percussion to the front of the orchestra and demonstrated that it can be very moving. And she demonstrated to the world that this percussion can be at the helm of the things. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped. Underline that. Very important. She has given inspiration to those who are handicapped, people who will look to her and say, if she can do it, I can. And when people look at her, they say, they pump in the air, they jump in the air, they say, yes, if she can do it, why can't I? And not the least, she has given enormous pleasure to millions. And at the same time, children, she has given enormous pleasure, enormous happiness to the millions of people, to the millions of children, to the deaf children, to the impaired children, and to everyone in the society. She is a ray of hope. She is a great motivation. She is a great inspiration for all of us. So dear children, we need to learn a lot from Evelyn Glennie. Hopefully, I have discussed this chapter in detail with you. All of you might have understood that. And in the second video, I will try to discuss the second part. After going to this entire chapter, you need to discuss the question answers. Go through it entirely, at least twice. If you have any queries, you can put them in the comment section. I can discuss them later on. Till then, have a nice time. Thank you.